Alright, other review I forgot to do this week. Not forgot, but I'm so busy doing a bunch of stuff and I'm trying to do videos and reviews for you guys. Review of this week was Phantom Trigger. That came out, I think, last week for Nintendo Switch, PC. I did a couple of uploading some gameplay. I haven't finished a game yet. It's one game that I really want to finish to the end. It's the story about Stan, who has his own battle against cancer. I know it sounds boring. It was hard for me at first because I did lose a lot of family members throughout the battle of cancer. But don't you wish you would have fought cancer frontline and beat the shit out of it? It's pretty much what you're doing. So, in Phantom Trigger, you play the story of a... Whoa, we're having issues. We're having issues. There we go. Phantom Trigger off the Nintendo Switch, which I prefer playing off a PC because the controllers and the control thus far is so much better on here. Like I was saying, you're playing one epic story. Somehow throughout the game, I don't want to give out too much spoilers, but the guy, Stan, goes into cancer treatment, and somehow from the inside of his body, in the story, you're battling cancer, but he has an alter ego, an imaginary, or maybe it's inside his body, I don't want to spoil it, but you're fighting off the cancer pretty much throughout. It's a dungeon crawler, kind of like, I don't want to compare it to Binding Isaac, because it doesn't really feel or play like it. I like to compare it to Guacamelee Turbo. You know, you had different powers, different colors. Like in this one, you have an ice sword, you have a fire punch, and you have that whip, just like in Castlevania. You could just grasp enemies and combine your attacks. It gets more and more challenging after level 2 and 3. I'm actually playing hard mode. All the gameplay you're seeing, it's hard mode, and I somehow love it so much to play on hard mode. I don't want to tone it down. I just having such a great time and challenges. Like I said, you're in a dungeon crawler game. It doesn't really auto-generate a new dungeon. I'm not sure about that part too, but the story is quite compelling. I want to see what happened with Stan and all his imaginary friend in this other dimension. He is probably fighting inside his body, but he has all this friend fighting his cancer with him. It's quite a compelling story. Really well made. Hack and slash dungeon crawler. Very challenging. Enemies are tough. Boss battles are quite epic. Very long and challenging, that too. So for me, must buy, must own. 14 bucks on the eShop, and I think it's 10 or 15 bucks on Steam. But it's a really decent price for indie gaming. Indie gaming with games like that will over-dominate. And honestly, cheap prices. Tiny Build Games, again, amazing distribution. And I can't wait to play the next one. The Bread Team. Bread Team did make this game, I'm pretty sure. But Tiny Build produces it. A Russian team. Distribute and everything. I love those guys. They've always been so good to me. But again, another classic hit. Phantom Trigger off the Nintendo eShop or Steam. PlayStation? I'm not sure. But really good game. Honestly. That story keeps you going. Throughout the level, you play the game. It has this quite unique way to phase out, and you see parts of Stan's story and memory combined with the worlds he fight in. The storytelling is just